Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you tonight for a album review tonight. Hopefully you will enjoy this album review tonight for Charli XCX Brat, the album I got a chance to listen to for myself to see what I was going to think of her follow-up to the Crash record that came out in 2022. Probably one of her best records, or good records to date. But honestly, let's kind of dive into this album review. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this 41.5 minute record for Brat, which consists of 15 songs, and let you know my thoughts on this record overall. So let's dive into this album review. Now it starts with 360 off the bat. It's a solid track. It's not anything that's amazing in any way, but it's solid, so I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. Club Classics is kind of a bit annoying. I mean, it's above average, but it could have been a little better utilized with the mixing, and not too repetitious with the club music getting a little too bothersome in my kind of area of listening through it. I didn't mind it, but it's just it's iffy. So 3.75 out of 5. Excuse my yawning. I'm gonna be going to bed in a bit. I gotta go to bed pretty soon, so I just want to get this review out if I can. But still, 3.75 out of 5 for Club Classics. Sympathy is a Knife actually sounded pretty good, but there were some mixing issues with this track. I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I didn't hate this song. I think it was a highlight to the record. But overall, there's some mixing issues with this track that I just didn't feel myself really liking about the song. Like, it could have been really good of a track if there was little less techno stuff that was overproduced in this track. So, yeah, she kind of overdid it and oversold it with this track. But it's still a good song, either way. I Might Say Something Stupid was solid track, so I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's only under 2 minutes, but you're not in for that long of a song, so 4.5 out of 5. Talk Talk is another solid track. I think it's not bad for what it goes for, but I have a few critiques with how it's sounding overall. Charli XCX sounds alright in this, but she kind of sounds a little iffy from time to time with the execution points of the track. Like, maybe the verses per se were hit or miss, but overall 4.5 out of 5. I am so sorry about my yawning in this video. I guess I'm really tired apparently. It's been quite a day, so I had to work tonight, so pretty much had to do what I had to do. But still, 4.5 out of 5. Von Dutch is a pretty good song for what I listened to. I was really interested in this track. It was a little techno-y in a way. Electronic dubstep music was overtaking in the song. It was a little overselling it a bit, but still, despite that, this track executed pretty good for what it went for, so 4.75 out of 5. Everything is Romantic kind of gets a little bit on my nerves. I don't hate it, but it's overproduced with the electronic work. I mean, it could have been better utilized if there wasn't too much EDM crap in this song that kind of made it seem a little annoying to listen to. But other than that, the song is okay, but it needed a lot of work, this track. So 3.25 out of 5. Rewind is a decent track. I mean, the electronic dubstep music that Charli XCX wanted to do with this track, I'm not feeling it. And basically, I think this track is decent. It sounds good with her singing in it, but there's some execution flaws with the EDM music taking over a little too much and getting repetitious in the chorus part of the song, where she repeats the same thing multiple times. Even in Everything Is Romantic, she repeated it multiple times. So that kind of gets a little ear grating and bothersome. But other than that, 4 out of 5. So I was a pretty good song. I actually think this was one of the strongest tracks for the record. So I'd give it a 4.75 out of 5, along with Von Dutch being another personal favorite of mine. So I really enjoyed that So I song. It sounded really good mixing wise, and Charli XCX sounded pretty good in this track for how she was singing. Girl So Confusing is average. It's not one of my favorite songs, but it could have been better if it was mixed a little bit better with the production and the mixing. But overall, it is what it is. It's one of those kinds of songs you gotta see if you get used to. But overall, 3.5 out of 5. Apple is a decent track for what it goes for. I didn't hate this song necessarily, but I think this track could have been better utilized if there was some solid production work. Like, there is some solid production work, I'll give it that. But it's the execution is the thing with this track. And there's some strong points and weak points, so 4 out of 5. Back to Back is above average of a track. I think this track is alright, but it is overselling it with the EDM music a bit too much. It's overproduced way too much. And I think this track can get a little bothersome to the listener. But overall, 3.75 out of 5. It's getting under a 4, because I just feel that it doesn't need a light 4 out of 5. It's close to it, but it doesn't need it. Mean Girls is actually another personal favorite song that I really dig. I'd give this a 4.75 out of 5. I think this was another strong track from what I listened to, and I really dig this one. 4.75 out of 5. I Think About It All the Time is one of the cringiest tracks on the record. I was highly disappointed with this song. For 2 minutes and 15 seconds, I was not feeling this track anyway. Charli XCX didn't sound good in this track with her vocals. I mean, it's fine with her doing auto-tune vocals and with her vocals being mixed during most of the songs that she does EDM pop stuff, disco pop EDM stuff, but overall, this track didn't work. I know it was a serious topic about her having a kid with this guy or whatever, and finding out that's her baby or whatever, but honestly, it's just the way it was sung. That is what I had an issue with. But overall, 2.75 out of 5. And finally, 365 is above decent in a way. It's not the worst closing track, but it's not the best closing track to this record, and it is overproduced a little bit too much. So 4.25 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution-wise, I found myself thinking this was a weak follow-up to Crash. Crash was actually probably my favorite of the records. This one was not. This one was kind of a misfire. It wasn't terrible, but it was meh. It just is not something I'm going to really come back to as the year goes on. It's easily forgettable, but it's meh in a way. At least it's not a bad record, but it's just in the middle with me. I'm just not really feeling this record too much. A few tracks I could come back to are most likely Von Dutch. What else? So I and Mean Girls, and maybe a few other tracks, but some other 4.5 out of 5 songs. But other than that, this record was almost a miss. So it's a weak follow-up, like I said. And if I were to give this a score, I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's it's meh. It could have been a lot better, but this is what we're getting for this new Charli XCX album cycle. So if you happen to like this record, that's fine. More power to you. I personally felt this record was not my kind of taste this time around. I think it could have been a lot better if the mixing was not too overproduced in a way for the songs, because it relied on repetitious, annoying EDM sounds and also repetitious singing from Charli XCX, and it could have been better, but this is what we're getting. So with that being said, 6 out of 10 for Charli XCX, Brat, her new album. Hopefully you enjoyed this album review tonight, and thanks for watching. Sorry about my yawning in this video. I gotta go to bed as of after this video. So with that being said, you guys have a good night, and thanks for watching this review.